David spares Saul's life. Jealousy can be an awful thing. It can make us feel very bad indeed. In fact, it can make us fearful and suspicious. But what's worse, it can fill us with hatred. We can hate the person we envy so much that we might even wish them dead. In our story today, we hear about such jealousy and envy. King Saul hated David so much, he tried to kill him many times. Each time, God protected David and allowed him to escape Saul's deadly plans. We may wonder why Saul envied David like this, but we will remember that Samuel had warned Saul that his days for being king were numbered. Another man would take his place because he had disobeyed God. At the same time, David, when leading Saul's army into various battles, won victory after victory. He'd become famous and very popular with the people. It was obvious God was with him, and Saul knew it. Things had got so bad that David had to run for his life. He went into the wilderness places to hide. About 400 men joined him for various reasons, and this allowed David to have a small army which he used to fight the Philistines. However, whenever David won such a battle, Saul got to hear of it, so he'd find out where David was hiding, and then he'd set out with his army to kill him. It happened that at one such time, Saul got so close to David that David was on one side of a mountain with Saul on the other. David managed to avoid Saul. After a while, David and his men found a cave to hide in. They went as far back into this cave as they could to keep safe. Meanwhile, Saul needed to relieve himself. He saw this very cave and went just inside in order to do this. And David's men saw him. "Your enemy is delivered into your hands. Go and kill him," they urged David. David crept up behind Saul with his dagger. He raised the dagger, only to cut off a small piece of the robe Saul was wearing. After he came out, Saul heard a shout. It was David. David appeared at a safe distance and told him that he could easily have killed him, because he was in the cave behind Saul all the time. David showed Saul the piece of his robe that he'd cut off. David told him that it wasn't for him to kill the man God had anointed as king. He wasn't his enemy, and that was why he had spared Saul's life. Saul was deeply ashamed. He realized that David was a much better man than he. It had been very wrong for Saul to distrust David and seek to kill him. He told David how sorry he was and that he'd return home and he'd never seek to kill him again. Sad to say, it wasn't long before Saul was hunting David again in order to kill him. It would seem that Saul just couldn't stop feeling envious and jealous. He just didn't feel safe with David alive. We can see from this story just how jealousy can get a real hold on us. And it just causes us misery and fear. It's the same with so many other sins. The Bible tells us that we are slaves to sin. We just can't help ourselves. Praise God that Jesus can and does free us from the slavery of sin in jealousy, we really can be set free. He died on the cross to do just that. Wow.
For the Son of Man came to seek and to save what was lost. Luke 19, verse 10. I can close my eyes and I can touch my nose. I can roll my tongue and I can touch my toes. Why did I turn up this way? I am not afraid to say I'm amazingly, wonderfully made. I can jump for joy and I can sit and cry. I can ask a question